everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET now. I'm Ubina Kapasi. Markets looking, well, a bit quietish. We're just about hovering near that 11,590 mark. Yes, still firmly below 11,600. Yesterday, of course, we snapped that 4-day losing streak. Today, the markets are attempting to sustain that momentum, however, very, very meekly. It's a more or less of a flattish move as we speak after all the give and take for the Nifty and the Sensex. Broader markets, however, are showing a tinge of outperformance, 0.5% higher for the mid as well as the small cap index. But here is, of course, where we flag off all the individual movers and shakers in trade. And to do that, we have with us today, joining in on the show, Swati Hodkar of Nirmal Bang. She's our technical expert. Kunal Bothra as well joins in. Along with them is Pranay Jain, ET Now's research analyst. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. And let's kickstart by talking about a big loser today in trade, and it is from the auto space. Tata Motors is losing. The last time I checked, it was losing almost about 1%, and this after reports suggest that as sales continue to slump for the auto sector, it has, caused Tata Motors to consider shutting down its factory at Uttarakhand. And in fact, reports are also suggesting that in a notification to its employees, the company has said that the volume demand in the CV sector has witnessed a drop. Hence, for optimum line utilization and effective productivity, it has been decided to observe block closure for 2 days, 13 July and 22nd July. It's not something new. We have seen auto companies in the last 1.5 odd month considering shutting down production to get inventory levels back on track. Something that certainly does spook the street quite a bit. However, look at the way Tata Motors has recovered. It's in fact now at the day's high 0.8% higher. So quite a recovery on an intraday basis. Kunal, what is it that's causing you to flag off Havells?
So 8th consecutive day, Mubina, the stock has seen a sharp correction, and just before 2 weeks, precisely, the stock was poised for a breakout on the upside. So it's a complete reversal of sorts for Havells. In this last 8 days, I think the stock has lost almost more than 10 to 12%. In a matter of just 1 or 2 weeks, and more important than the price correction is the way the stock has completely reversed its strong bullish nature. Now, in terms of technical levels, it's come back to a 200-day moving average support, which I think is placed at 700, 705 on spot level. So it's very, very close to a next strong support level. If that support level is caved in and the stock breaks that 700 mark on closing basis, then I believe that the stock could see one more round of strong selling pressure.
Okay, just 0.1% higher, and yes, the stock has certainly been falling since 8 consecutive days, and now it's just about near the 200 DMA. Okay, Pranay, of course, the big news maker is Interglobe Aviation after the big ET Now news break.
Well, yes, so we've seen quite a bit of news flow coming in. Obviously, one, that this promoter spat is running deeper, which is why SEBI is getting into scrutiny of the shareholder agreement. And once we have more details on that front, then naturally you would see some clarification being required from the CEO as well, whether the whole issue was underplayed or not. But in the interim, that remains an overhang, and you could easily see that the stock had corrected about 17% last couple of days. It's shown some bounce back, but continues to hover around the 1350-60 mark.
Well, yeah, finally seeing some green on the screen after 3 consecutive days of a big drop. Swati, look at the way Wipro is falling. Today, it's a massive crack of, I think, more than 3% the last time I checked, 2.3% now. Any observations on your side on Wipro?
Yes, Pubina, the overall IT pack is looking very weak on a bearish side as technical perspective. If we look towards the Wipro chart specifically, the weekly charts on the technical pattern shows that from the last few months, it was just trading in the upper rising channels, and as of now, in this week itself, it has given the breakdown of that upper rising channel. Also, the fact that the momentum indicators such as the RSI is showing a negative divergence on the weekly chart, which gives a clear-cut indication that the stock will be under the selling pressure. Today, it has just broke the 200-day moving average. The volumes are a little bit low as such, but I believe the overall view is the cautious. I believe downside, the stock may come down towards the 250 to 240 levels, whereas the resistance is placed at 270.
Okay, 261 rupees now for Wipro. Quest Corp, and look at the way that stock is buzzing. More importantly, of course, a significant amount of the spike has come in after the company announced that it has approved an issue of 7.5 lakh preferential shares to Amazon for 51 crore rupees. So yes, Amazon is going to be investing in the company. I'm not sure how much 7.5 lakh translates to, but it's a fresh preferential issue that has been approved by Quest, and rightly so. You are seeing the stock as well react to that news, 6.5% higher after that spike. And Kunal, Arvind is something that has been on and off on your radar of late.
So yes, Mubina, I flagged off this stock in the morning, in the early morning show, giving a buy call, purely because of the fact that the last 3-4 weeks, we've seen a completely, high amount of volumes. Now, earlier the stock, used to make, very low amount of volumes and went through a phase of correction. But now the correction has halted for the stock price, and you've seen, the volumes increases. The levels of 59, 58 apparently has been acting as a strong support zone. There is a double bottom pattern on the price front as well. So volume-wise, price-wise, and the way the stock has, stopped falling, I think just about indicates that a near-term bottom could be in place for the stock. Should move up higher significantly from current levels. So I would maintain the bullish stance on Arvind, which I gave in the morning, with targets of 68 plus.
Okay, 2.5% half for Arvind in today's trading session. Pranay, Sun Pharma, nice up move seen for the last few days.
Yes, Mubina, Pharma generally has been more resilient in this volatile market, and Sun Pharma has been one of those few stocks that have seen buying interest. So for the fourth straight day today, you are seeing a decent 2.5% kind of uptick on the counter. So it's back above that 400 odd levels, which was acting as a resistance for some time.
Okay, well, 409 rupees now for Sun Pharma. So a nice uptick. We are back above 400 rupees, by the way, with this 2.5% uptick. Swati, Apollo Hospitals. Today, lots of action on the F&O side seen here.
Yes, Mubina, the technically it looks very good as such on the charts. If we look towards the daily chart also, the stock is well placed about its 50, 100 and 200 DMA. Even though we have seen the major sell-off in the Nifty, but this counter has just maintained a very well on all the important moving averages. Also the fact that on the technical perspective, it has just on the verge of giving the breakout of the pennant patterns. Today the volumes are really doing very well along with the price momentum. So I believe upside we will see on at least 1400 to 1420 levels in the coming 2 to 3 days. So I am suggesting a buy call at the current level. Place a stop loss of a 1335 for immediate target of a 1400 and 1420 levels on the higher side.
Okay, 3% higher now for Apollo Hospitals. HDFC Life and insurance companies are in focus. India Insurance has shown robust growth trends in June. That's what Nomura has observed. In fact, private insurers as well continue to deliver strong growth, and Nomura continues to remain positive on life insurers. Look at the way HDFC Life, ICICI Lombard, all of these stocks are seeing a nice up move today. They do, however, say that SBI Life remains their preferred pick. But yeah, I think in the quarter gone by, insurance companies certainly have done pretty well. Let's see how the results come out, of course, over the course of the next couple of weeks. But yeah, today all insurance companies are showing a nice up move. Kunal, you have a buy on DCB. What's the reason?
So again, this was also one of the stocks which I flagged off today morning. It's one of those very interesting price performers in terms of the banking names. On one hand, you have solidity on the large cap names like ICICI, etc. But DCB Bank is also doing pretty well for itself. The last 4 to 5 months have been extremely positive for the stock price. No volatility when you see the the market stabilizing. The stock tends to move up much more higher. And when the market's going to even small uptrends, the stock tends to break out of its resistances and restart a new uptrend for itself. So that's a very important ingredient to the stock price characteristic. Would suggest a buy on DCB Bank even at current levels with a target of 250 plus and stop loss at 239.
Okay, 250 rupees is what Kunal believes the stock will touch in the coming few days. Pranay, of course, everyone's watching out for Infosys. First quarter numbers expected today.
Yes, 2.5% revenue growth is what we are penciling in dollar terms. That's because of a 30 basis point cross-currency headwind. Otherwise, constant currency, the number could be better at about 2.8%. Of course, the headwinds on the margin front are expected to take EBIT margins to about 20.3%. At least 110 bips hit, but some analysts point out perhaps the hit on the margins could be slightly higher since the company is going for a higher number of H-1B visas. So it's expected that the management will maintain their commentary in terms of guidance for FY20, but what is the takeaway with regards to the margin recovery? That will be important to watch.
Well, yes, margins, that will be very important to watch for all these IT companies. And of course, TCS, not such a great set of numbers, so all the more Infosys will be watched very closely. Swati, let's take a look at RIL, gaining almost about 1%. Anything you're observing here?
Yes, definitely, Bubina. Reliance counter is looking definitely very strong on the technical perspective. If you look towards the last 2 years data also, from 2016 onwards, the stock has not even broken a 200 DMA, which indicates a very strong bullish sign. On every time we have seen that the stock touches the 200-day moving average, and then we are getting some bounce back rally, and the stock is making a new high, which indicates that the stock is also trading in the higher tops, higher bottom formations, which is a very good sign on the technical perspective. As of now, it's currently facing a strong resistance of 50 days moving average, which comes to near 1300 marks. At the current level, I will suggest to just wait and watch. Once it manages to give the breakout of a 1300 level, one can take a buy call for immediate target of a 1340 to 1360 levels on the upside, with a stop loss of 1280 rupees on a downside.
Okay, in fact, it just slipped below that 1300 rupee level in the last couple of minutes. Thanks, Swati, for that. NTPC and CLSA has come out with quite an optimistic note on NTPC, and it's got to do with the whole merger with SJVN, which is on the cards. They believe that this potential buyout of SJVN will be value accretive, the M&A will be value accretive, and it does create a company with better energy mix with renewables. Of course, for the government as well, it's going to be value accretive. There was a 61.9% stake in SJVN. The pressure will, the pressure on that low ROE solar capex shall reduce post the acquisition, and hence CLSA has a buy. They've kept their target as well at 157 rupees for NTPC, stock gaining approximately 2%. Okay, and Pranay, more from the first quarter earnings calendar. IndusInd Bank, what should one watch out for?
Well, Mobina, it will be the first quarter where they report merged numbers with Bharat Financial. So naturally, the growth in NII is expected to be much higher. The consensus estimate is about 35% on the NII front. PAT growth, though, will be lower at about 14%, given the kind of provisions they've had to make. So it'll be an interesting set of results from Bharat Finance and how they've managed to, pass through this issue of IL&FS exposure.
Well, yes. Okay, that of course is something very interesting to watch out for. Just by the way, some important news. The NCLAT is going to hear the Dutch plea against the NCLT's order on Jet Airways. And let's see what exactly is it that their plea is on the NCLAT. Abhimanyu Sharma actually has picked up those details. Abhimanyu, what is the Dutch admin pleading in the NCLAT against?
Well, the Dutch court administrator has today moved the NCLT. They had sought vacation of the NCLT order, on which a partial stay has also been granted today on the NCLT order, which has ruled that the Dutch court's order, that the Dutch court's proceedings were null ab initio. The Dutch court administrator had moved the NCLT today. They had said that they agreed to not sell any Jet Airways assets which are lying with them, and NCLT has agreed to share their plea. Also, the NCLT has asked them to cooperate with Indian proceedings and to assist the resolution professional in filing overseas claims. NCLT has also observed that they can consider allowing joint proceedings in order to maximize returns for all creditors while adjourning hearing for the 21st of August. The Dutch court administrator today told the NCLT that they are ready to cooperate with the Indian proceedings, with the Indian side, and hence their orders and proceedings back there in Netherlands should not be declared null ab initio, which was ruled by the NCLT. Hence, a partial stay has been granted on this particular aspect of the NCLT order. Further hearing in this case will take place on the 21st of August. Till then, the Dutch court administrator will not only help the the resolution professional file overseas claims, but will sit down with the resolution professional in order to maximize returns for all creditors.
Okay, thanks a lot, Abhimanyu, for that. Jet, by the way, is 5% lower as we speak at just 48 rupees. Quick break right here on Market Fatafat. Do come right back. We'll continue with the countdown. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET now, where we are flagging off the big movers and shakers in trade. Let's continue with that and talk about OMCs, in particularly stocks like IOC are seeing a massive decline come by today in trade. This after Brent has once again shown a nice bounce. In fact, it's perched at a 7-week high, crossing $67 per barrel yet again on account of this time around its weather conditions, especially in the Gulf, a key oil-producing region. And the weather conditions do not seem to be very conducive to oil production. which in turn is something that has caused crude to spike up. So take a look at BPCL. You already saw that one. It was dwindling close to the day's low, almost 1% down. IOC as well has been the top Nifty loser today in trade. Among the top Nifty losers, almost losing more than 1%. The last time I checked, and that's IOC for you, 0.6% now lower. Made a bit of a attempt to recover from the day's low. But yeah, OMCs in general have been showing a weak trend. Pranay, let's talk about UPL. Finally, some bit of green seen on the screen after that fall.
Well, yes, and it's actually a very slim recovery compared to the kind of fall it has had in recent days. Initially, there was that concern that perhaps in Brazil and North America, perhaps its growth may not be that good because of an issue in the crop over there. But after that kind of correction, you're seeing some value emerging in the counter, and therefore buying has returned.
Okay, 1.7% higher now at 640 rupees. Kunal, Hero Moto, a nice up move seen today. What are you observing?
So it's a very classic chart pattern, Mubina. It's a bullish hammer pattern on the weekly charts. Now, when you see the references of this candlestick pattern on the price front, across the last, I think 1 year, there have been many instances that this kind of a candlestick pattern generally acts as a strong turnaround to the short-term price targets. And we've seen that happening for Hero MotoCorp. Even this time around as well, it's forming an exactly similar bullish hammer pattern with a very strong indication that the stock could see a very a decent revival on the near-term prices. So I think Hero MotoCorp could see a substantial upside even from current levels. I would place a target closer to 2650 to 2700 on the stock price in the near term.
All right, there you have it. That's Hero MotoCorp, 1.9% higher. Let's talk about ACC. Bank of America, by the way, up their target price for ACC. So that's perhaps contributing to some of the traction you're seeing on screen today in this cement counter. But Swati, on the technicals, anything that you're observing here?
Yes, definitely, Bubina. As of now, the ACC chart looks very strong on this particular counter. From the last 2 months, we have seen that we have seen a sell-off from the 1760 towards the 1460, almost 300 points fall on this particular counters, and the stock has somehow manages to take a support of 200 TM, and we have seen some bounce back rally. If you look towards the harmonic chart pattern, it is on the verge of just forming the CD leg of the bat pattern. So probably looking towards those harmonic bat patterns, I believe that the stock is likely to carry forward its rally towards the 1620, 1640 levels. So those who are having any long positions, they can definitely hold on with the immediate target of a 1620, 1640 with a trailing stop loss of 1545 on the downside.
All right, ACC 1.6% higher as we speak. Trigen Tech, it's a stock we don't talk about very often, but this one has managed to bag itself a very prestigious order, and hence you are seeing that nice up move come by in the stock price. Now, what exactly are the details of this order? Let's take you through that. It has informed the exchanges that it has a wholly incorporated subsidiary has been awarded a contract by the New York State Office, and this is with respect to an IT services contract. It's going to provide hourly-based IT services, and this is fixed for a period of 5 years. They haven't mentioned what the amount will be, but yeah, it's certainly a prestigious one received from the New York State government, and Trigen is higher by a nice 7.5%. And Pranay, ahead of the numbers, Karnataka Bank, what's the stock looking like?
Well, it's expected that this quarter's results will be better, and that the commentary has been also positive on the outlook for this year. There aren't any estimates for it due to lack of analyst coverage, but because of a positive outlook, the stock is up right now 1.5% ahead of the results.
Well, yes, a nice 1.5% uptick, though mind you, this is not the stock where we usually do get a lot of previews or, there's no such poll as such because of, there being not enough coverage for it. But yeah, 1.5% higher at 101 rupees. And Kunal, Balrampur Chini, a nice up move seen there. Any observations?
The stock has been, chugging along the 50-day moving average since last 4 days. There have been 1 day up, 1 day down in terms of price performance, but, that's not dented this crucial 50-day moving average. Now, in terms of price levels as well as this average, I think 147 on spot level should act as a strong support for the stock price. Until the time it's trading above it, there is a very strong likelihood that it can come back to 165 plus. So I think Balrampur Chini could be looked at as purely a short-term trading bet, and anticipating that this 50-day moving average should not break for the stock price.
Okay, well, with that, we are out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat. So Swati, Kunal, Pranay, thanks to all of you for joining in and sharing with us the big buzzers and shakers in trade today. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.